Have you ever just had that feeling, that little bit of unease about your phone? That sense that you're kind of being pulled away from what's right in front of you? Well, you're definitely not alone. We're going to dive into that exact feeling with a little help from the book Offline and explore the powerful forces that are making us all feel that way. Okay, so let's just cut right to the chase with a very direct question from the source material. Are you being digitally manipulated? It's a jarring thought, isn't it? But it's the question we absolutely have to answer if we want to understand what's really going on in our hyper-connected world.
So first, let's talk about what's become, well, the new normal. We're talking about a whole set of behaviors that are so common now, we barely even notice we're doing them.
Does any of this sound familiar? Your phone being the first thing you grab in the morning and the last thing you see at night? That constant nagging urge to just check. For what, exactly? And come on, who hasn't felt that phantom buzz in your pocket? These aren't just weird little quirks. They're symptoms shared by literally hundreds of millions of people.
And this gets to the absolute core message from our source. If you've ever felt guilty or weak because of these habits, listen up. This is not about a personal failure. It's not a lack of willpower. It is the result of intentional, calculated design.
So what's the purpose of this design? Well, it's all for a massive, high-stakes fight that's happening every single second of every day. Welcome to the battle for attention.
You see, in our world today, our attention has become one of the most valuable resources on the planet. I mean, think about it. Every second your eyes are on a screen, that focus is being captured, it's being packaged, and it's being sold. It's the fuel that makes the entire digital economy run.
And the scale of this it's staggering. Way back in 2017, advertisers paid over $200 billion just for a slice of our attention.
And by 2019, the market for that attention, it included over 5 billion people, all walking around with smartphones in their hands.
The amount of activity is almost impossible to comprehend. Google alone processes 1.2 trillion searches every single year. Each one of those is another bid for a tiny piece of our mental real estate.
So how in the world do they win this battle so effectively? Well, it's because they figured out how to understand and then exploit the very wiring of our own brains.
And this strategy has a name. It's called Addictive Design. Think of it like a whole toolbox of techniques they use to install these subconscious triggers into the technology we use every day. These triggers are what create that constant nagging urge to check, to scroll, and to just stay online.
And they do this by targeting two key chemicals in our brain. On one hand, you have oxytocin. That's the love hormone that makes us feel connection and trust. But the real bullseye is dopamine. And here's the crazy part. Dopamine isn't really about feeling good, it's about expecting to feel good. It's the craving chemical that gets you hooked on what might happen next.
And this is what it looks like in the real world. Every notification, every like, every endless feed, they're all carefully engineered tools designed to give you that little jolt of anticipation. It's a loop, a craving, an action, and then an uncertain reward that keeps you coming back for more.
The book Offline uses what is, honestly, the perfect metaphor for this. Your phone is a slot machine in your pocket. You pull the lever every time you refresh your feed, and you never know what you're going to get. It could be a great post, a boring ad, an important message, and it's that unpredictability that keeps the dopamine flowing and makes the habit so incredibly hard to break.
So what's the end result of all this constant low-level brain manipulation? The authors of Offline actually gave it a name, a kind of diagnosis for our modern age. They call it DFRAG, for Digital Fragmentation Syndrome, and it's basically this condition where our entire experience of the world, our sense of who we are, where we are, what we're doing, is constantly being shattered into these thousands of tiny, disconnected digital moments.
And this fragmentation isn't just a metaphor, it has a real physical impact on our bodies. We see it in messed up sleep patterns, higher stress levels, and it can even physically rewire our brains, which is a really scary thought, especially when it comes to kids. Then you've got the psychological effects, which are just as big a deal. Our ability to focus just tanks. We find it harder to control our impulses, becomes more difficult to make decisions, and for a lot of people, it ends up chipping away at their self-esteem.
And finally, it really messes with how we connect with other human beings. Our empathy can actually decrease while feelings of loneliness and isolation go up. We end up getting trapped in these digital echo chambers that can seriously distort our view of reality.
Okay, I know, hearing all of that can feel pretty overwhelming. But this is where the story takes a turn. Because simply understanding how these systems work, just knowing what's going on, that's the most powerful first step you can possibly take to reclaim your own mind.
This quote from the book really nails that feeling of discovery, right? That wow moment. When you realize just how powerful these brain hacks are, it's like waking up. You start to see the system for what it is.
And this, right here, is the most important message of all. The damage from this digital pollution, from Defrag, it's not permanent. The damage is reversible. We can push back against these patterns. We can choose to disconnect and take back control.
Which leaves us with one final and really vital question to ask ourselves, a question that gets right to the heart of modern life. After seeing all of this, are you really using your technology, or has it, by its very design, started using you?